You know, our rub is specific not only to our briskets, to our smokers and our cooking process. So what are you putting on there, Damian? What is that?
This is our Crossbuck rub. We call it El Guapo rub. And it's only used for beef products. And it's based on a little bit of salt and white sugar and a lot of delicious flavors like garlic, like cayenne.
There's so many people out there that love brown sugar with their barbecue. Why do we use white sugar on the brisket?
Because of the time that it takes to cook. If you will use brown sugar, it will caramelize too fast, and it's not going to give you the right bark on the brisket over a lapse of 14 hours, 16 hours.
Yeah. And so the brown sugar just caramelizes too quick, you know? Caramelization is the process that happens with meats and vegetables and anything else that has sugar in it. It's the darkening of sugar from heat. There's a big difference between caramelized and burnt. Caramelized is a nice brown, nice golden brown. Burnt is black, right? And so, you know, that brown sugar, it just does not have the heat capacity that a white sugar will. We love brown sugar. We love the flavor of brown sugar. We got a lot of brown sugar in our sauces and in our other items. But it's something that's going to cook for 18 hours. You can't put brown sugar on it. It's going to burn out. There's no question about it. Right? So we use white sugar primarily, not just in the beef, but anything that's going to cook for a very long period of time.
For a long period of time, correct.
So a lot of pitmasters are talking about how it's just salt and pepper. And that's true. You can put just salt and pepper. It'll turn out pretty good. You can make just a cheese pizza too. Like that's your option, right? There's also a million different things you can put on a pizza. Yeah, so we are taking that basic salt and pepper idea. For us, sugar is a very important part of the situation.
Correct.
And I personally feel like that sugar should be part of the rub. Our rub, basic ratio, 5 parts salt, 1 part sugar, and 1 part pepper and spices, right? Like that's the basic ratio. Now, there's a lot of spices in there.
Yeah, what spices? I mean, that's
a lot of different
that's
things.
completely up to you.
You know?
We use what we like to cook with.
Yeah, people are asking us what we put into it. It's nothing surprising, and it's what we want it to taste like, you know?
Yeah,
I mean, there's a little cumin in there.
pantry.
There's a little cumin in there. We got some garlic powder, you know, like things that are just common, you know? But the ratio is important, right? It's an important part of it. But, I mean, the main ratio that's most important is the heavy 5 parts salt. And then, you know, you need some sugar in a rub for us. Like for us, that's what we believe. You can do just salt and pepper. It creates a very different product and not the product we're interested in. We're trying to create this like what some people refer to as a sugar cookie crust. And it's seen a lot in Texas barbecue. You know, I don't know if we love the term because we don't think it tastes like a sugar cookie. But, you know, I mean, what you're looking for is a nice, hard outer crust that's been super developed and it has some sugar component into it to add like a sweet and savory situation going on at the same time. Now, you come into the restaurant, you taste the brisket, you're not like, oh, there's sugar on there. That's sweet. Like, it doesn't taste sweet. But, you know, there is interesting and important part of like layering different flavors to create one large flavor. You know, and so, you know, we put salt in everything, you know, and that accentuates flavors. And then everything else is kind of building its own flavor. So, you know, for us to, you know, it's not so much about tasting the sugar. It's the yin and yang of like making sure that everything has a good balance. We don't want you to taste the sugar. We also don't want you to think it's salty, right? We also don't want you to think it's peppery. But, you know, I mean, what's the difference between our rub and just salt and pepper? I mean, you know, there's not a huge difference, but it's just like, what's the difference between our restaurant and all the other barbecue restaurants? We don't consider ourselves just a regular barbecue restaurant. And we're taking traditional barbecue techniques and we're putting a lot of effort into making them better, right? And so we take traditional barbecue rubs and we've put a lot of effort into making it better. And we have a specific rub for every single meat that we make, right? And it's not, they're not all the same. They're all very different. They all have their own flavor profile. And like this one's important for the brisket. For lack of better words, I just think that, you know, the difference is we're trying a little hard. We're putting effort into every single item that we do. We put a lot of thought into all of our rubs. We put a lot of thought into what flavor profile that should be. You know, we have some more savory herbs that go on the prime rib, which happens to be the same kind of meat, you know, but for how long it gets cooked, we want it to have a different flavor profile. And that's important to us, you know. We notice it, we feel it, you know, and we find it very, very important to our finished product.